Alison, 2016 looks to be another record year for Irish tourism from the US market. This makes it the fourth consecutive record year, which is really fantastic. What do you put that down to?
Well, I think a significant increase in air access. Over the last number of years, we've seen a phenomenal increase in our air footprint. We now have 16 gateways in North America. So good access. I think we have a great product on the ground. The investment that sister agencies in the industry have put into the regional brand experience has really helped. Some great marketing. I think we've obviously had to market with limited resources, but I think the impact we're making through our digital marketing has allowed us to reach a larger number of our consumers in many, many more markets. And of course, the value on the ground remains paramount. So good product, and we have very high satisfaction levels, and I think when people come back from a vacation in Ireland, they tell their friends, so that also helps us.
Absolutely. And do you see that continuing into 2017? There is more air access, I understand.
We do. I mean, it's very early at the moment, but when we look at the air access position next year, we will see the LA service going to Daly, which is operated by Aer Lingus. Delta is starting a new seasonal service from Boston to Dublin, so that's very good news. And of course, we have low-cost carriers coming into the marketplace promoting Ireland, so WOW Airlines is another good example. Via Reykjavik, but again, for a more budget-conscious traveller, for a younger traveller, it bodes very well from a consumer perspective. So yes, we do. I think it's going to continue, and we're just staying focused on our marketing at this point.
Excellent. We're here, of course, Alison, in the week of a presidential election. We have a new president. His management of the economy is very important because that does influence consumer sentiment.
It certainly does, and obviously I can't comment on the election results, and nor can we predict the future, but obviously consumer confidence is really important to us in the outbound travel market. So we'll obviously need to keep an eye on that, and the exchange rate. So one reason that we have been so successful is the fact we've had a very strong dollar against both, increasingly so against sterling, but also against the euro. So we just have to sort of keep an eye on that, and but I would expect it to have very little impact at this point in time on the outbound demand for Ireland.
Absolutely. And the American visitor is very valuable to the Irish tourism economy. It's vital in a way that the tourism industry maintains very high standards and offers good value for money. Do you see any product gaps or weaknesses that we should be addressing?
I think the biggest concerns that we have, the biggest constraint to growth is really around the availability of accommodation, hotel accommodation, particularly in Dublin. So price and availability of accommodation is the biggest constraint. And what we are seeing is if consumers can't find accommodation in Dublin, often that business doesn't always displace to other parts of the island, it displaces to another country. So we are obviously looking at ways to manage that in the short term. We know there's plans to invest in a big building program over the next number of years, but in the short term, we're looking to encourage more people to travel in the shorter season. We're looking to spread business around the country. So that's obviously our biggest constraint. Also, there's some constraints now coming through around some of the major attractions. They are getting busy, so I think we need to manage those visitor flows to ensure that we maintain a high quality visitor experience. But other than that, I think we're seeing growth in the FIT sector, we're seeing growth in chauffeur drive, we're seeing growth in small customized groups. So this is a market that delivers very well for Ireland, as you said, high volume, but I think the important point to make is the fact that more than 2/3 of American travellers travelling to the island of Ireland are holidaymakers. So they have the impact in terms of revenue, the contribution they make to the Irish economy in terms of their length of stay, and the spend is what's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely, they're good spenders and there's a good regional footprint as well. We mustn't forget Canada, of course. It's also performing very well.
It is. I mean, Canada for a long time was a market that was underexploited purely because we didn't have any direct year-round access. We've seen a significant change in that over the last 3 years. So this year we will see, I would expect Canada to break through the 200,000 barrier. It's making a very positive contribution to Irish tourism. We've seen an increase in air access last year, or I should say this year, 2016, Air Canada opened up the West Coast, and all players that are servicing the 4 gateways now from Canada are very happy with the results. So I'm very pleased that we've been able to sustain that demand for capacity, and we look forward to seeing further growth from Canada. Canada is really coming into its own, and again, like the United States, it's a long-staying, high-spending market.
Absolutely, with much potential. I suppose marketing and funds for marketing are particularly important, and if you're talking about the whole North American continent, the US and Canada, there's only so far your budgets will stretch. Additional marketing funds with ITIC has been quite anxious to lobby for Tourism Ireland to spend must be important to support those new gateways.
It really is. I mean, obviously we've been trying to work with fewer resources over the last sort of 4 or 5 years. So now we have a great opportunity to reinvest in building interest in Ireland. I think one reason we have been so successful is that we invested through thick and thin. So we're at a point now where we have 10% of US outbound market to Europe. So 1 in 10 travels from the United States going to Europe or coming to Ireland.
Which is remarkable.
So we're probably at the top of the cycle. We need to invest. We're beginning to see a slight erosion in our share of voice and our brand recall. And that really is a leading indicator that we need to reinvest so that we can actually continue to build and increase the number of people that are interested in visiting Ireland. To me, that is the best service we can do to provide to our industry. The more people we can get interested in visiting Ireland and strengthen that intent to travel, then it's up to the industry to convert that interest into business. So we look forward to the outcome of the current sort of budget negotiations. Obviously we'll be making a pitch and a bid to invest more here in North America. I think the rationale for it is very clear. High spending, long staying. Americans love the island of Ireland, and we look forward to sort of building on that. What we hope will be close to 1.5 million visitors in 2016.
Excellent. Brexit. It's happened, June 23rd. You know, the date that everyone knows that when the UK voted to exit the EU. Has that had any impact on the North American travel market to date?
Not really. With the exception, we are obviously looking at the exchange rate. I mean, I think the byproduct of Brexit from a North American perspective is the weakness of sterling. So our concern there is, will people look at the UK as opposed to Ireland? Obviously, we're promoting Northern Ireland, so it makes Northern Ireland very competitive. But in talking to industry, I think the industry generally believe that Europe as a whole, for Americans particularly, is seen as very good value. US dollar is strong against the euro, and obviously it is strong against sterling as well. So I think at this point we're not too concerned, but we are certainly keeping a watching brief on that. My bigger concern probably is how some of our competitors as destination marketeers are going to respond. Will we see Visit Britain, Visit Scotland, decide to invest more in this market, and also their industry? And I think we should be mindful of the fact that if we look at visitors in August, visitors to Great Britain from North America in August 2016 were up 13%. So that's a very strong result. So will that continue to trend?
And do you see evidence on the ground already that Visit Scotland and Visit Britain are more active than previously?
I think they are pretty active, and I think they probably have some plans to increase their activity into 2017. And I think I think if we were in their position, we'd do the same thing too. Great.
Alison, thank you so much. Congratulations on 2016. It's been a really wonderful year for Irish tourism from the North American market, and let's hope it continues into 2017 and beyond.
Thank you, Owen. Thank you.